going on, everybody? Happy Thirsty Thursday. Welcome to another edition of Dangle Bet Celly here live on our FTN Network YouTube page. Also, those streaming live on our Instagram page. Welcome in. DBC coming at you twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And look who's back. The old boy, Eric Young, joins us today at the Eric Young. It looks like he's rocking the mustard yellow Preds jersey as they are one of, I would think, 22 teams in action today with the postponed game yesterday in Buffalo. The Sabres and the Blackhawks were supposed to play last night. They are going to play tonight. So we do have 11 games on the ice. If you are listening on iTunes and Spotify, we greatly appreciate your support. Smash the like button here on YouTube. Any questions, you can always reach out to us in the comment section live on the show at the Eric Young on X, at Chris Meaney on X. And welcome back, dude. I've missed you. I need you in my life. We need the goal scorers, man. And as you can hear probably and tell, we're both battling through head colds here today. So it should be a fantastic
show. I mean, I normally sound insane, but it's extra crazy right now. So if my voice slips or the volume goes, everyone knows why. Nose is running, spitting and coughing, and I need surgery on my throat again. And
oh no.
It's all coming to a head, and I fly this afternoon to Orlando for some more wrestling. So, yeah, just so busy, man. It's weird. Like, I don't feel the same when I don't do the show. So I definitely don't like it. Trying to keep up as best I can. Definitely ready for today. Tons of games, tons of interesting games. So let's get into it.
Let's get into it. You're a busy dude. All the best with everything that's going on in your life. Before we get into it, January 18th, any surprises at all to you when you take a look at the NHL standings or anything at this point of the season? Is there a surprise team in a good way or a bad way or a legitimate Stanley Cup contender that comes to your head? I know the last time you and I chatted, we gave a lot of love to the Florida Panthers. Like, we talked up the Panthers a lot. There's a buying window for them at 8-1 to win the Eastern Conference, 4-1 to win the Atlantic Division, and 18-1 to win the Stanley Cup. And all they've done since you've left, I know last night, not the case, but all they've pretty much done since you've been missing the past couple of weeks is win hockey games. But I'll just ask you, at this point, before we get into the games tonight, any surprises, big takeaways here as we creep closer to NHL trade deadline and playoffs, man? We're here before you know it.
Yeah, I mean, just as we all predicted, Sam Reinhart is one of the NHL goal scoring leaders, naturally. Just like me, you said, just like the world was talking about going into this season. I mean, that's crazy. It's awesome. We've always liked Sam Reinhart. You know, we were hopeful that he would make it out of Buffalo and go somewhere where he'd be utilized. I don't think even the Florida Panthers thought that Sam Reinhart would turn into this kind of a scoring machine. Surprise, surprise, everybody. It's during a contract year, and anybody that's surprised about this is not paying attention. This is what players do. This is what you would do. This is how you get big contracts and make money. Like, I'm not saying that the players aren't trying in other years, but during contract years, it goes to a whole nother level. I think for me, though, the biggest surprise, and I think anybody that says that they had them where they are in the standings is a liar, and that's the Winnipeg Jets. This was a bad hockey team last year. Bad. And Connor Hellebuck looked like not the same guy. They lose one of their locker room guys or leaders or whatever you want to call Blake Wheeler. Apparently, he was the weight dragging everybody down because they've been unbelievable. And they were unbelievable when their best player, Kyle Connor, wasn't in the lineup. So to me, that's the number one surprise. I don't think if you're being honest and you're really looking at the whole NHL that there's another way to look at it. That's team-wise, that's the biggest surprise. They're one of the best teams in the league right now, and it's crazy.
Yeah, they've just they don't allow 3 goals in games. Hellebuck's been fantastic. I think the biggest thing for me too with the Jets, and they are, I think, the biggest surprise going in the NHL. Like, not super surprised that the Sens are at the bottom of the basement. You know what I mean? Like, near the bottom of the basement. We expected maybe an uptick in their performance this year heading into the season that they would fight for a playoff spot. But the Jets, I just kind of counted out. I'd say, yeah, maybe they're a wild card team. Hellebuck's really good.
Right.
But, I thought they made out okay in the Pierre-Luc Dubois trade as George checks in and says, PLD, big contract. Nothing, just hanging around. A couple points lately for the Kings, but certainly the Jets made out just fine in that trade, as Alex Iafallo has been great. Cole Perfetti's breaking out this season, and Gabriel Velarde's been really good as well. Ehlers is back, and Kyle Connor. But what they did over that stretch without Kyle Connor is just won a whole lot of hockey games without him. Connor Hellebuyck has the league leading 944 save percentage at 5-5. 944. That is unbelievable. That's according to Natural Stat Trick. Next up is Joey Decord, who is very similar usage rate, by the way. 28 games, 1,300 minutes to 1,500 there for Hellebuyck. Third is Swayman.
He saved Seattle season.
And fifth is Tristan Jarry. Absolutely. He has saved the Kraken season, and they are in action tonight. We'll get after it. Dusty's in the house. Let's go. Big night on the ice. Checked in on Tuesday. It gave us the Rangers in 60. Brzez's finally going to Sabres versus Hawks night. Man, stay safe, because every time I see a report from Buffalo, I could hardly see the reporter. I saw some crazy snow there yesterday. Damn lake effects, blizzard. Yes, absolutely. Welcome in. Let's get after it today. As we mentioned, there's a bunch of games on the ice. So we'll start with Boston and Colorado, which should be a good one in Boston. I don't know if you've heard the reports of Patrice Bergeron practicing skating on the ice, not with the team, just doing a little bit of skating. Brad Marchand joined the Pat McAfee show, I think a couple weeks ago now. He didn't hint to Bergeron coming back, but he also didn't rule it out. And it's something that I could actually see happening, where he just kind of takes this whole year off and then he shows up in the final couple weeks of the season, and then they just have Patrice Bergeron added to that squad. Colorado, man, they just play to a lot of over. What?
Come on, man.
You think it's going to happen? No chance? Could happen.
I'm not ruling anything out. Like, the fact that Boston is this good is insane. Yeah, and then they get
still atop the Atlantic.
Bergeron back for the last quarter of the season into the playoffs. Come on.
26, 8, and 9, 61 points atop the Atlantic, as I mentioned. 2 wins there. The Avs, man, they're going through some things. Like, they're finding ways to win games. They came back on your Leafs. They let one slip against the Habs. They came back on the Sens. They were down 2-0, I think, at one point, and 4-2. As we said, the Sens are just a dumpster fire. Colorado, what I noticed when I watched them play is, man, like Duran getting 26, 27 minutes a night. He averaged 13 minutes in the first 2 months of the season. I think 17 in the third. And then this month it's like 24, 25. That line is just playing so much. Like, Rantanen and Nathan McKinnon has had the most multi-point games in the NHL. Makar is logging all the ice time. Georgiev's among the leaders in wins, but his save percentage is just not great. They play to a lot of overs. They need help big time. Valerie Nichushkin's going to be away from the team again for a little bit. We wish him all the best, but he may not be back again this season. It's possible. Artturi Lehkonen is close, according to the coaching staff. He could return at any moment here. It could be tonight. It could be on this road trip, is according to reports. So that's a good boost. Add him if you can. I like Charlie Coyle. I think it's probably one of my favorite plays in the game. Maybe not just to score, but to pick up a point. Put that in the tracker last night at plus money. I believe it was plus 120 for Charlie Coyle to pick up a point. He is centering the top line with Marchand and David Pastrnak. So I'm going that route. Duran's been pretty good. If you want to consider him for a point, I actually put it, you'll be proud of me. I actually put an under in the tracker last night, trying to mix up the mojo of what's happening. Eric Holla, I had Eric Holla last night for 0 points. And I don't know, man, I was watching the game and he must have had like a dozen chances, making me sweat. It is an uneasy feeling when you pick somebody for an under. I'll tell you that. It's a different vibe. We did get it. I put Duran today at under 1.5 shots at plus 110. I look back at the last, like, he's been a point per game guy for the last month, But I look at the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. He's only had 2+ shots in 3 of them. He's had a couple with 0. He's a pass first guy. He's playing really good hockey, but when I watch him play, he's always looking to pass, kind of in the bumper, right? It's Rantanen on one side, it's McCarr from the point, it's McKinnon from the other side, and Juren's is kind of right there. So he's not really looking to shoot all that much, but it does make me a little bit nervous, and it is the Bruins. So those are the 2 plays for me. Juren under 1.5 shots plus money, and Charlie Coyle for a point. What you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go Pasta at -110 and Marchand at 150 to score for Boston. And on the Colorado side, I'm going to go McKinnon plus 115. He's been a beast all season. And I'm going Ross Colton at, I think he's plus 320. Like last week, 2 goals, an assist, 9 shots on goal, 6 hits. Like he's kind of coming around. And I think probably part of that is, no Valerie Nichushkin, and someone has to step up and fill those minutes. And it looks like Ross Colton could be the guy. So I really like him. Plus, especially at maybe it's plus 370. My handwriting is amazing.
Use the prop shop, free tool over at ftnbets.com. It's like Google search, save you a lot of time, save you a lot of cash. Type in,
definitely use it.
I'll find it for you now.
It's an amazing tool. And like the truth is I live in a state where I can only use a few betting apps. So I use FanDuel because they tend to have the best for me. But if you're in a place where you can use Bet365 or PointsBet Canada or whatever, use those, because a lot of times you find, I know Rivers has good numbers for hockey as well. So the prop shop is an amazing tool. So use it if you can.
Yeah, I find Bet Rivers is the best for shot props and FanDuel is the best for goal scorers. And you're right, plus 370 for Ross Colton to score a goal tonight over at FanDuel. And I mean, something to keep in mind, maybe not tonight, but moving forward, at least until Lehkonen comes back, he's on that first power play.
Yep.
And he does have 2 power play points in his last 3 games, and he's plus 375 for a power play point tonight. But again, it is the Bruins. They're pretty disciplined, and they don't allow a whole lot. We just talked about Swayman's numbers there. As for Charlie Coyle, it's at DraftKings, and it's moved now. I'm seeing the best price at -125 for Charlie Coyle. He's got points in back-to-back games. In fact, he's got points, Eric, in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of his last 11 games, and he's playing quite a bit. I just love the fact that he's centering those 2 studs in Marchand and David Pastrnak. So those are the plays for that game. Who do you think wins? Boston, Colorado? You get Colorado plus money.
Yeah, I'm going to go Colorado at home.
Bruins are at home.
Oh, I got to listen. Is Colorado at home? Okay, well, then I would go Boston at home.
I'm with you. I like Boston too. -142, a little bit of juice there. But I think like I said, I think there's something going on with this Avs team. They're finding wins, but they're allowing a lot of goals. It's not really getting the goaltending. Okay, let's get this Buffalo game. It's not on the board, but let's get after this one. It's the Chicago Blackhawks and the Buffalo Sabres. The Sabres are heavy favorites. I was on them yesterday thinking that Chicago would play the second half of a back-to-back, having just played San Jose and then playing Buffalo. I thought, I'll jump on the Sabres here on the puck line at plus money. Now the puck line is -112. I still lean that way. Chicago's playing pretty good without Connor Bedard. They're actually hanging around in some of these hockey games. They're getting some decent goaltending. But I've seen a recent push from Buffalo, at least offensively, at home, putting a lot of pucks towards the goal. I would lean with them again on the puck line. I like Tage Thompson for over 3.5 shots. Casey Middlestat has been really good. Daily Faceoff sometimes has Casey Middlestat on that top line. And then when I watch, it's not Casey Middlestat. I think I want to give a little bit of love to Zach Benson, because it sounds like Benson should play on that line tonight with Tage Thompson and Alex Tuck. So that's the trio I'm looking at. Maybe a same game parlay with Tuck and Tage for plus money, probably plus 125 for those 2 guys to hit the score sheet. But I've noticed Tage has been shooting a lot since he's returned to the lineup. And so that's my guy tonight. I think he scores a goal. Like him and Alex Tuck are guys that are going to have to step up here in the second half of the season if the Sabres want to make a push. And again, it's been much better for them over the past 3 or 4 weeks. So you got a goal scorer or 2 over there?
Oh, yeah. The Chicago team, like you said, surprisingly competitive. And then you look at this roster and you're just like, oh,
so bad.
Good God. And it's tough to know where to put your money.
I don't bet on any Hawks, man. I don't bother.
Yeah. If I'm betting, and I'm probably not going to put any money on this, but Kurashev is a plus 310. He's centering the top line, playing on the top power play. Will probably play the most minutes as a forward. So there's something. And I like Colin Blackwell. And
I like Blackwell too.
That's the
good
end
little
of my
player.
analysis on Colin Blackwell. He's plus 420, which is a fun number. And
That's pretty good.
Colin Blackwell is a good player. So that's where I'm going there. Buffalo, I'm going Tage at 155. And Jack Quinn has been playing pretty decent and playing on that second line with Peterka and Cousins and shooting the puck quite a bit. They've also got him playing on the top power play on the right-hand side between Middlestat and Tuck and Tage and Darlene on the point. So Jack Quinn's going to play some minutes for Buffalo, and there's no reason he can't score.
Yeah, I dig it. The Sabres have won 4 of 6. The 2 losses came against like teams that are kind of feeling it. Like Vancouver's been feeling it all year. That's a 1-0 loss. And then they lost to the Kraken. But Tage Thompson, he's got the 5 goals over the past couple weeks. His last few games, the game log, the shots have been there 5-3-5-0 against the Kraken. Pretty good 5-5 team. Before that, back-to-back games with 4, and he had 6 against the Columbus Blue Jackets. So there's a couple teams there that's some soft opponents, like San Jose put us up 5 shots. The Blue Jackets, he puts up 6. The Habs, he puts up 4. So Tage Thompson, plus money, I think it's plus 105 for Mr. Thompson to have 4 shots. So that's where I'm at in that game. All right, let's keep moving along. Let's go over to Philadelphia. We got a matchup here between the Flyers and the Dallas Stars. I put in the Stars last night. I'm going to take this every time. I'm just a big sucker for Dallas and what they have to offer. Live odds are plus 135 at Bet365, and the Flyers are at home at plus 118. It's not going to be easy. Flyers, another team. Torts has them playing, man. They've been playing all year. They've been super competitive. They've been getting some good goaltending from both goalies. They're winning hockey games and staying in a lot of hockey games. The Stars in the last game, they made a little bit of a change in their lineup. I know what they're trying to do, and it worked out for them perfectly, actually. They put Wyatt Johnson on that top line with Pavelski. They took Pavelski off the line and put him with Ben. On the third line. They kept that line that's been together all year long. That's been fantastic. The Duchesne line with Marchment and Sagan, they've just been awesome. Every time I watch the Stars play, man, they create chances. Yep. But they put Wyatt Johnson with Rupe Hintz and Jason Robertson to kind of get him going. He's been fairly quiet, and he was great. He scored a goal, picked up an assist. He had 4 shots. So he was all over the ice, and Vegas just hasn't adjusted to, him being promoted. So he's plus 110 for a point on DraftKings. He's plus 240 for an assist. Hintz and Robertson are playing really good hockey at the moment as well. The shot prop is juiced at minus 175 for 2, so stay away from that. But I'm in on the point. I'm in on the assist, and I think the goal at plus 370, we just talked about Colton. Like, Wyatt Johnson's also getting an opportunity with some really good players here, 5-5, and on the power play. So it's one of my favorite plays of the night. I'm in on the Stars, and I like Wyatt Johnson tonight.
Yeah, I love that call, man. Dallas, I'm going to go Robertson at plus 185, which is pretty sweet. And Duchesne has been unbelievable for Dallas all year. Good. And like you said, I don't know if the books have caught up to it or not, but he's plus 270 to score. Philadelphia side, Konechny, 145, probably been their most consistent goal scorer, most consistent forward, probably as well. And something I want to bring to everybody's attention is Scott Lawton. And no, I haven't been drinking yet, but he centers the second line and centers the top power play, and he's plus 500. So
he's kind of the poster boy. Yeah, for sure. He's kind of the poster boy for banger leagues, because he does absolutely everything. I own him in one Fantrax league. Face-off wins, takeaways, hits, shots, and he does move up and down the lineup for sure. Nathan in the house, welcome. Not a hockey guy, but just wanted to say what's up, Chris. Welcome in, Nathan. We appreciate the support on FTN Network and all the shows that you jump in for football. We'll have a football show. I was hoping to go this afternoon. I am really struggling. I'm battling this head cold, but I will have a show in if not today, tomorrow we'll have one and done lineup picks and some props. We'll talk some football, Nathan. We'll get that one and done lineup locked in for a divisional round of the NFL. Okay, I don't have too much more to add besides Tippett. Like, if there's something you want on the Philadelphia side of things, for me, I'm a big fan of Tippett. He's minus 135 for a point. He's minus 118 for 4 shots, but it is the Stars, and they're a pretty good hockey team, and they're pretty stingy at 5-5. Let's head on over to Ottawa, minus 182. The Sens, man, I just don't think that they're good enough to be favorites like this. Actually, it's come down, so that makes a bit of sense. Minus 178. The Habs are checking in at plus 158. I probably lean with Ottawa winning this game, the fact that Montreal played last night. But one thing I want to say is Montembeault is awesome. This guy is completely ruining the Habs rebuild. He's been amazing all year. Last night, he was great again. What I said to the Discord channel is that maybe taking the Habs is like something you don't want to do, but betting against them when Montembeault is between the pipes, because he's kept them in a lot of hockey games. He was great against the Avs when they won that game the other night. So anyways, he's not going to play. So a little bit of a break, I suppose, for Ottawa here tonight. Slafkovsky continues to impress me, dude. He scored a goal last night. He's shooting the puck a little bit more. He's getting more ice time. He just he's playing with a lot more confidence. He's plus 110 for a point tonight. So I'm in on that. He continues to play with Suzuki and Cole Caulfield, who had a goal last night as well. So I don't know if you're feeling Cole Caulfield, but past couple of weeks, it's like, where's the goals coming? Where's the goals? He's still shooting, and the shooting percentage is not where, we saw over the first couple of years in the NHL. So maybe some positive regression that was coming his way, and we're starting to see it now. He's got goals in 3 straight games, got 6 goals over his last 11 games or so. So I think he probably scores again tonight. Slafkovsky picks up the point. And then I'd probably give some love to the Sens top line. I was in on the second line the other night against Colorado, and Stützle and Batherson and Giroux, but it was I think it was Giroux. No, it was Tarasenko. But it was the Giroux and Ridley and Brady line, Kachuk, that kind of showed up. So I know you probably got 4 or 5 goal scorers. There should be some goals in this game.
Yeah, I like Caulfield as well at 155. Actually at plus 155, I love Cole Caulfield. Ottawa, man, apparently DJ Smith wasn't a problem. And
these guys are awful.
It still doesn't make sense to me, but here we are. They're bad. Caulfield 155. And I'm going back to Monahan here again at 240, playing on the third line, but playing on that top power play. Ottawa is a pretty undisciplined team, so I think we'll see Montreal on the power play quite a bit tonight. Ottawa side, Kachuk at 120 and Batherson at 185. Batherson's been really good this year and just seems to score almost in every game he plays. So
Ridley Gregg plus 100 for a point. I like that one too. That's over at DraftKings. Let's see if you can get a better number for him. He scored a couple goals the other night. Yeah, plus 100. He's 23-1 for the first goal. That's pretty good. He's plus 330 for an anytime goal over at FanDuel as well. I'm definitely going to jump on that one once I'm done. I'm going to put that one in the tracker. Just getting an opportunity. 18 minutes, 17, 18 last 3 games. He's got 5 points over his last 4. And as I mentioned, he scored twice against Colorado. So, I mean, he's playing with Giroux and Brady Kachuk. And I just think that Giroux, apart from Batherson's been really good. It's a good call. Giroux has really been the best player in Ottawa over the last 2 years. I love Claude Giroux, and that just can't happen. You know what I mean? Brady Kachuk and Tim Stützle need to be much better. Stützle especially. This guy's been very quiet this year. It's just so disappointing. I don't get it. Shabbat and Sanderson and Chikrin, mostly the goaltending, but also the 5-5 play. You mentioned the discipline and the penalties. It's been I don't know. It's got to be one of the most disappointing seasons for Ottawa as a franchise, because expectations were a lot higher than this. Who do you think wins? You back in the Sens? I think they pull it out. I know. I just don't think anybody can put that kind of money down at that price. What are we doing here? At minus 172, maybe Canadians, reverse puck line. just because they hang in a lot of games. I think like 8 of their last 11 have been 1-goal games. They've won 2 straight. But the Sens sit at the bottom of the Atlantic. I know they've only played 39 games. They actually have a lot of hockey to make up on some teams. They played 5 fewer games than the Habs, but they have 15 fewer points than Montreal. You never would have guessed that heading into the season. January 18th, the Habs have 15 more points than the Ottawa Senators. Anyways, Slavkovsky point plus 100, Ridley plus 100 point. I like those two. I'll move on. Monahan's been good. I expect him to be traded, and he's going to be good for whoever picks him up. I think it should be the Avs. That's my guess. Minnesota and Tampa Bay. We have the Bolts here at home. Minnesota's gotten a little bit healthier over the past couple of games. Kaprizov's back in the lineup. Zuccarella's back in the lineup. It was really cool to see Marc-Andre Fleury get the shutout and pass Patrick Waugh for the second most wins of all time. He was on the Pat McAfee show yesterday. What is a great guy, right? McAfee kills me. McAfee says he's a legend, calls him a legend on the show, and Fleury's like, well, I don't know about that. He's like, well, dude, you just passed Patrick Waugh, and you have the second most wins in the NHL of all time. You're a legend. And he's like, oh, thanks. Like his face gets all red, and he's like, thanks, man. That's super nice. And he says, if you score a goal, we'll donate $250,000 to your favorite charity. He's like, if I score a goal, he says, last year at this time it was $100K, so you must be making the big bucks at the ESPN. It was a really good convo. And McAfee's a big hockey guy. He's a longtime Penguins fan. And he's starting to get more hockey guests on his show and try to help grow the game. So it's actually a really good podcast and show to watch. I'm a fan. Anyways, he may have his hands full tonight against the Bolts. I like Tampa here in this game at home. They've been up and down as well, but they've shown me a lot more than the Minnesota Wild have this season. So we have an opportunity getting Tampa at minus 135 at BetMGM. So I'm on the Bolts here tonight. What you got over there?
Yeah, it'd be good to see Kaprizov back. I mean, obviously with Minnesota, they were so banged up, but we're still kind of like hanging around, which is impressive for them. The Fleury story is so cool. I think a lot of people were talking about, maybe trading Fleury away because Minnesota might not make the playoffs and this, that, and the other. And he's only going to go to a place where he's going to start, right? He's not going to be a backup. I don't feel like he's interested in that, and he shouldn't be. So, I got a Kaprizov, one of my favorite players to watch in the NHL, to score Boldy, to score Kucherov. And something I wanted to bring to everyone's attention is Nick Paul. He's playing on the second line and playing on the top power play, and he's plus 300. So, Paul's had a really good season, was a really good player and an important player for Tampa, and obviously playing some important minutes. So I did want to bring that up. And those are the 4 guys I got today.
Love it. All right, moving right along. San Jose and Washington with the Capitals at home, almost a pick 'em. They're slight favorites, minus 112, best price over at DraftKings. In Seattle, you can get them at plus 104, or St. Louis rather, at plus 104 over at FanDuel. I went to Oshie the other night. I've been kind of riding TJ Oshie for the past couple of games. It worked out over the weekend. I had him over 2.5 shots at plus 150, and he was great. And then the last game, I had him again, and he didn't do a whole lot. He picked up an assist. He only had 1 shot, but that line had a ton of opportunities. I don't know the status of Ovechkin. Just double check here and see what's happening with him. He may be a game time decision again. Skating to start the practice this morning, which is a good sign. But yes, he is a game time decision. Actually sounds like he may be good to go. He skated before practice and during, so he may be good to go. But I don't know what they do. I don't know if they split that top lineup. It's actually been pretty good for Washington over the past couple games. Strome, Pacioretty, and TJ Oshie. So Oshie for me over 2.5 shots is plus 125. Forget last game, 1 shot. The attempts were there. 7 shots before that, 4 and 3. So he has racked up 15 shots over his last 4 games. He's cleared in 4 of his last 5, dating back to what would be mid-December when he suffered the injury. He's been in and out of the lineup all year long, actually over the past couple of years. But I'm in on TJ Oshie. I like the 2.5 shots, and I like Strome to pick up a point. On the other side, I would lean with a Kyrou goal. I kind of feel like a lot of unders hit in Washington, so I'm not totally into a lot of offense here. They've been getting good goaltending. So I'm going to lean with like the under in this game, but I'm sure you have a goal scorer too. If I would pick anyone on St. Louis, it would be Kyrou for me.
Yeah, we're in lockstep with Kyrou at plus 180. And Jake Neighbors is another guy I want to bring to attention. That seems to be a theme today, but he's plus 320 playing on the top line and playing on the left side on the power play.
Yeah.
They've obviously noticed something or indicated something with him, and he's playing some pretty important minutes for St. Louis right now. Washington, Pacioretty, like you said, that top line has been pretty. I don't know, good, but I would say okay for
Decent.
them. Pacioretty is going to get going. It's what he does. You know what I mean? Like, he's a goal scorer. He's always been a goal scorer. Once he starts getting it to go here, I think we'll see it come in bunches, plus 200, and Wilson at plus 230, because I like Tom Wilson. He's playing important minutes for them. Not just a big, tough guy, but it has some offensive skills as well. So I like Wilson at plus 230.
Yeah, Neighbors is a good call. He was on that top line earlier in the year before Berube got fired, and he was pretty good. Like he looked like he fit in with Thomas and Buchnevich. I would assume if Ovechkin plays tonight, he'd be with Wilson and Kuznetsov, and they would keep Strome, Pacioretty, and TJ Oshie back together. Not seeing any shot props for Max Pacioretty, but he has had back-to-back games at 3. And you mentioned the plus 205 for him to find the back of the net tonight. I think is a pretty decent call there. The under for me, what is it? I think it's 6. I think it has moved to 6. 5.5. Is there any 6s out there? Vegas is too sharp. There's 1-6, bet MGM minus 120. I would jump on that one. I think the under 6 is the play there. All right, dude. Leafs and Flames. We have Calgary at home dogs tonight, plus 115, and the Leafs checking in at minus 126. I gave a lot of love to Calgary in the last show. Some of it worked out. Some of it didn't. What did work out was they won the game. They came back. They were down 2-0. They came back and won that game. They've been playing really good hockey. They've won 4 straight and 7 of their last 9 games. Blake Coleman worked out for us. We were looking for a Huberdeau point. He was a late scratch, so he probably got voided on that bet. But Blake Coleman scored again. This guy is, he's scoring every night, Eric. Like, he's got points in 4 straight. He's got 8 points over that span, and he's got 5 goals over that span as well. And you can go back and look. It's like every other game he scores, man. I'm going to add it up. I added it up last time, but I like him again. And he's only minus 110 to pick up a point. I don't want to hammer down on the Leafs. I don't know how much you've watched of them lately, but too much. I think things are more intense than ever now with Toronto at this point, because Nylander got paid, and he hasn't had a point since he got paid. He's going to be fine. But they've blown a lot of 2-goal leads lately. They've blown a lot of third period leads lately. And I know Marner's comments have rubbed people the wrong way. I don't know if you heard them. I don't know if you have any thoughts on them. Do you have any thoughts on them? It seems like maybe he's just trying to be positive, but the fan base seems like he doesn't give 2 shits about the current slump that they're on. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he's trying to stay positive. I think doom and gloom, right? I mean, if the players start acting like the fan base, it's not going to improve things. As a person who played hockey at a very low level, like if you're, down and you're, squeezing your stick and trying to make things happen and negative, like you're just never going to get it to go. These guys have been confident their whole life. They all believe, every single believe the best player on the ice every time they get on the ice. And the truth is like, look, Martin Jones is the starting goalie for the Toronto Maple Leafs and has served in that role pretty admirably. But it's going to be a bumpy ride if Martin Jones is your starting goaltender, right? Like that goal in the Edmonton game from Draisaitl, like a terrible backhand from like the most crazy angle, like that puck cannot go in the NHL. It just can't. And the players then feel deflated and feel they need to do all this extra stuff. And it's not good. I can say that. And Nylander scoring, Will he score again? Yes, but this is not a good thing to get that kind of money and then disappear when he's having, arguably the best season of his entire career. So we'll see. I mean, Calgary's a bad team.
They're playing better though. At this moment, they're playing much better. I lean with Calgary to win the game.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't bet on Toronto to win until they show me something. I got Matthews to score at plus 105, and I think Nylander scores tonight because he needs it and they need it. On the Calgary side, I'm going Kadri at 210, and I'm going Sharon Govich at 220.
Yeah, Sharon Govich, I was on him too. I had the 3 shots, and he had the overtime winner there, but he's been playing really good breakout season, right? The addition, grabbing him and trading Tyler DeFolio is a good move for Calgary, a little bit younger. I always liked him. It's just he was up and down the lineup in New Jersey, but he's really getting an opportunity. I will get in on a 3-6-5 if there's Huberdeau back, because Huberdeau's been picking up some points. Huberdeau, Lindholm, and Sharon Govich been really good, but I want to go back to Blake Coleman, so I added it up. I just did the numbers. I'm going to have a free betting article at ftmbets.com like a half hour after the show. It'll be inside the description of this video to check out. Coleman will be in it. He's minus 115 over at BetMGM for a point. He's going to slow down at some point. Like, he is shooting above his weight, shooting percentage, yada, yada. But he's got 20 goals and 18 points in 44 games. Dude, he's picked up at least a point in 16 of his last 19 games. 16 of his last 19 games, got 25 points over those 19 games and 14 goals. He's scoring every night. He's now on the first power play. Like, he's just playing good. And it's not like this is a crazy outlier. He had 20 goal seasons before. When his last season in New Jersey, he had a great campaign, 20 plus goals. I think played half the year. Another banger league favorite, throws his body around, block shots, not afraid to shoot and pick up points. So I'm in on Coleman. I'm in on Backlund. Backlund's the same price for a point, and I like the over 2.5 shots, even though it's the Leafs. I'm more than comfortable taking Backlund for over 2.5 shots, considering the track record there. If I was to pick any goal scorers, I mean, Coleman just kind of ride this thing out, but I like the Sharon Govich call, and I do like the William Nylander call too, because you can only keep him off the score sheet for so long, right? He's gonna find the back of the net at some point. For Backlund, he's had at least 3 shots in 5 straight games, and 6 of his past 7, and some big numbers there, 6, 5, and 7. Some of those attempts, and he had 5 the other night against Arizona, played 21 minutes. He's really getting leaned on. That line's been really quietly really good, and again, quietly the Flames have been really good over the last 3 weeks. As for the Leafs, yeah, Troy, I mean, this is what we've been saying for, I don't know, years. The way that Toronto's roster is constructed, he's talking about how it's atrocious. They cannot find a bottom 6 forwards, D-men around to round out the lineup, and that's it. And then they're going to be in a tough spot moving forward just because the contract's going to kick in next year. You got another year of Tavares, then Marner's looking for the raise potentially. So, yeah, Leafs are in a tough spot. I don't think that they're like last year. I thought that they could go on a run. I don't feel that way about them at the moment. Things could change. But, Eric, when the big 4 don't show up, they don't do much because the bottom 6 isn't really doing anything. Bertuzzi and Domi have been busts. The defense is lacking talent, and you just mentioned Martin Jones. He's been fine, but it's Martin Jones, right? So I don't think that Wall's just going to come back and save their season. Like, the guy's a rookie. Like, what do we really expect? Like, he was good when he was playing, but this guy's not going to take him to the promised land. Maybe firing the coach is what you do, but I think that part of it is the structure, but they probably just ride with Keefe the rest of the way, right? And if it doesn't work out, then they make the change. Like, do you think what are the chances Keefe finishes out the season with Toronto? Or do you think that it's possible that if the losses continue to pile up, that maybe Trailing does move on? Because we've always heard this before. GM, they want to hire their own coach. Like, he was brought in, it's like, okay, he was extended, but at some point he may want to bring in his own guy. What do you think about Keefe potentially being let go?
Yeah, I mean, if the losses like that keep piling up where they're giving away leads, that's obviously the worst part, right? Like, they, the last, 4 or 5 games, they've had at least 2 goal leads and squandered them and then end up losing the game. That's a sign of not a good team, and like, you look at them on paper, like, I get what Troy's saying about the bottom six, but like if you got Max Domi, Caller Yarncroc, and Bertuzzi playing on your third line, like it should be one of the best thirds in hockey.
It should be much better, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like that's a third line that most teams dream of, and the top six is scary. When it's going right. Obviously, it is not going right. You pay for that kind of firepower up front. You're going to have to give it up somewhere else. They're obviously giving it up on the defensive side. I think defensive structure and defensive play, they've been decent. Like this is not Toronto Maple Leafs from 2 or 3 years ago where it's just fire wagon, fire the pucks, and try to outscore everybody. That's not what they're doing. But the truth is their defensive structure and their defensive play has been much better. It's just it comes down to getting the save at the right time. Joseph Wall seemed to be playing well, but Samsonov has been absolutely brutal. And Martin Jones is Martin Jones. Like, I mean, this doesn't come as a surprise to me or to anybody that's seen him play over the last 5 years. He is not a good goalie, which is why he wasn't on a team. So here we are. This is Toronto Maple Leafs all over again. Do I think they get right? Yes. Do I think they make the playoffs? Yes. Do I think they get out of the first round? Who effing knows? It's just
it's shaping up that it could be a Boston or Florida first round opponent for them.
Yeah,
any love for Pontus Holmberg? Any love for him with the promotion to the top line? 2 assists he scored the other night.
Yeah, I'll say that's been very interesting. I was like, who in the hell is 29? Like, I mean, but the truth is like he's looked pretty good in that position. Obviously, they know something that I don't know, or you don't know, or everybody that watches hockey doesn't know. But he's been pretty decent playing in that position.
He's got points in 5 of his last 6. He's got 2 goals over that span. Like, yes. I would consider a point prop. I can't find it anywhere. Maybe Bovada has it. He's plus 480 for a goal. It's not a bad little sprinkle just because, like, dude, he's playing with Marner and Matthews. Played 18 minutes the other night. The games before that, 8, 14, 13, 9, 9, 12. And he was picking up points over that run. So he's got 8 shots over his last 3 games. I think it's worth a little bit of a sprinkle. Maybe a first goal at 30-1 or plus 480 is a little bit of a small sprinkle just because of the recent form. And let's be honest, he's playing with Marner and Matthews. Let's move on from that game. Yeah. Seattle and Edmonton here, and the Kraken have been playing really good hockey, and the Edmonton Oilers have been playing unbelievable. They have 11 wins in a row, which has never been done in the franchise, which is wild to me because they had so many good teams, right, in the 80s when they won all those cups. But 11 straight W's, getting the goaltending from Skinner. The Kraken have been playing really good too. This should be a really, really good hockey game. And I believe Edmonton is like 26-6, I think, since the coaching change. So they've just been hot fire. The Oilers that we expected them to be, they're clicking. What you got over there? You got some goal scorers? You think Seattle can pull off the upset, or just Edmonton continues to win hockey games?
Look, I believe the Seattle Kraken are just built in a way where they can beat any team on any night. Right now, Joey Decord is playing lights out. Nobody saw that coming. I don't. You tell me.
They're a little thin on the blue line with Dunn, though. But Decord is playing great.
Him being out, but Decord's playing well. The team plays very structured, very difficult. It's a very difficult team to play against. Kind of scoring comes from all over the place. McCann is not the same offensive player this year as he was last year, but he's playing really well. Bjorkstrand obviously playing very good. I know that they said that, but that's a player. Ron Francis said that's a player that more people need to be paying attention to. We've talked about him a ton. Have always liked him. I'm going to go Eberle at plus 300. He's playing a lot.
Revenge.
Yeah, revenge game. And Wenberg, because he's centering that top power play and playing on the second line, and he's plus 500. And I know Wenberg is not a guy that scores a ton, but this is, Seattle just kind of scores by committee. And Last year, McCann was a guy that I think I bet on him to score every time Seattle played, but you can't do that this year with anybody there. So those are the two guys from the Seattle side. Edmonton, I'm going McDavid and Draisaitl because to pick anybody else would be silly.
How about Hyman? This guy scores every night. My
That's true.
Goodness.
Yeah, that's true.
It's I can't believe he keeps scoring. McCann is I like McCann tonight. You mentioned the recent form. He's been quiet. He's been up and down the lineup. My goodness. Like, just play this guy. I know that Seattle rolls 4 lines. I get it. They roll all these guys. Tolvanen and Gord and Bjorkstrand play more than anybody. They've been together all year long. It's been the constant, and they've been the most consistent line. But Jared McCann, if you can't play this guy on the quote unquote 4th line, like he needs probably to be number 1 or 2 in terms of ice time. So I'm seeing now that they finally have him up on that top line with Eberle, who you mentioned, and Thomas Tatar. They got Matty Bernier sideline. So I like McCann tonight. You can get him to pick up a point at plus 114. He's got the 3 goals over his last 3 games, and he's got 6 points over his last 4 games. He's starting to shoot a little bit more, 5, 2, and 4 shots over the last 3. So he disappeared for a little bit. Vegas hasn't adjusted. Well, I guess they adjusted for the slump that he's been on, but this is it now. You know what I mean? Like I thought the attempts were there. Wasn't putting the pucks on the net when he was, like the goals weren't falling for him. But this is a guy that, last year may have been a little bit of an outlier with the goals that he scored, the 40 or so, the shooting percentage, but he's a little bit better than this. Anyways, plus 114 for a point, plus 240 for an assist, and plus 125 for 3 shots. And I get it's the Oilers, but ice time is more ice time, top line, power play, shooter on the power play. So I'm in on Jared McCann for all of those. I'll probably just do the point and the 3 shots. I like McDavid for a 2-point night as well. The Kraken had won 9 straight, now back-to-back losses here on this road trip. And no Vince Dunn really does hurt them because he just logs a lot of minutes. It's been really good for them. All right, Nashville and LA. Go ahead, take it away. What Preds jersey are you rocking, by the way? And are you picking them to score?
I am. I'm wearing a Philip Forsberg
nice
alternative jersey. What is it? You can turn it into Reebok. I don't know which one it is, but it's the one with the weird, like cartoon deal.
Oh yeah,
on
the
it.
old school.
Yeah. It's a cool jersey for sure. Forsberg has been awesome. He's their best player. The line of him, O'Reilly, and Nyquist. Nyquist is, man, it doesn't, like, man, I knew like that he was good, but he's so good. He's such a good player. And getting a chance to play top line, really smart hockey player. Forsberg at 160, and I'm going Colton Sissons at plus 360. He is playing on the top power play and has always been a pretty good player, just never been asked to do much offensively. Scored a ton of goals in junior, and obviously found a different role on this team when he came in and has been that kind of like 3rd, 4th line guy, but is playing up the lineup, has been playing important minutes, and most importantly, playing on the top power play. The LA side, I'm going Kempe and revenge game for Kevin Fiala.
Oh, nice. The Kings are hurting, man. I know they only played 41 games. The Preds have played 44. The Preds got 49 points. The Kings have 50 points. So they're right there. It's a huge hockey game. But LA has 1 win in their last 10 games. Like, they are just not playing that great at the moment. I don't really know what's up with them. Still playing a good brand of 5-5 hockey. Talbot is going to come back down to earth. We thought that. It was the first 2 months he was fantastic. I like the Nyquist call. We've been talking a lot about him just for a point at minus 120, playing the top power play and playing with those guys. And I feel the same way about Quentin Byfield. I still think there's good value on both of those players. Quentin Byfield, top line, top power play. He's minus 115, excuse me, for a point tonight. You like the Preds? An opportunity maybe to jump on a struggling LA team or what?
Yeah. I mean, Preds have been struggling too. But yeah, I think Nashville's going to pull this off. They played well. I was at the Vegas game and they played Vegas. They completely walked them in the first period and then just kind of fell apart. And Vegas said, no, never mind. Mark Stone scored a hat trick. He's such a good player, and it just he's so slow it doesn't even make sense that he's that good. It's crazy. And I what's his name? I know Riley's that way too. Like they both look comparatively like in the NHL at that level, like they're skating in mud, but they just get it done and can control the puck in small places and protect the puck. It was really cool watching them both play against each other. They're kind of cut from the same cloth. But I think Nashville wins this game tonight.
Okay. All right. Two more. We're going to get out of here. We've got the Rangers and the Golden Knights, and then the Coyotes and the Vancouver Canucks. So let's start with New York and Vegas here tonight. I put in the tracker last night, Chandler Stevenson. I saw what you saw the other night, and Stevenson and Mark Stone and Eichel's sideline for the next couple of weeks. So that really does put a wrench into the Golden Knights, their power play. William Karlsson is also sidelined here. So Chandler Stevenson getting a lot of opportunity. Nicholas Roy getting a lot of opportunity. Chandler Stevenson is minus 120 for a point. Again, I've just been going away from these shot props and just taking a look at points. So he's got 3 points over his last 2 games. So that is where I'm leaning. And I think the Rangers will go in and win the hockey game here tonight. Vegas is a tough game. It's a tough team to play in Vegas as well. But I will lean with the Rangers kind of at full health here, and Vegas still missing a couple key players like no Eichel. Shea Theodore still sidelines. I mentioned William Karlsson there. So I think the Rangers, I think I'm going to jump on them as, even though they're road favorites, they're slight road favorites, but I really like Stevenson to pick up a point. Panarin's been just hitting the score sheet every night. And Lafreniere's fallen into points. So I think he's interesting for a point tonight. And Trocheck has been a guy that I've been jumping on for over 2.5 shots. And again, Bet Rivers is the best price for Trocheck. He's minus 125 for 3 shots tonight. And for an example, he's minus 150 over at Bet Rivers and at Bet365 and minus 145 at DraftKings. He only had 2 the other night, but he had cleared in 6 straight before that. And he's also had a quietly really good season. He's got 5 goals over his last 6 games, and he's hit the score sheet in 7 of his last 8. What you got?
Rangers, Panarin, 140, unbelievable. One of the best hockey players in the world. Just so smart and slick with the puck. I do wish that he would shoot more, but kind of never really been his thing. But when he does, he gets it done. And I'm going Zibanejad at plus 200. Another guy that I really like watching. Really good hockey player. New York has been really good for the majority of the year. Vegas, I'm going Marshall at 165 and Dorfianov. I'm not really sure if I'm saying that right.
Oh, yeah.
Watching him play, man, just hard on the puck. Really good shot. He had this one play where he kind of like weaved through 3 or 4 players. He looked awesome, playing important minutes and playing on the top power play, and he's plus 240. So I like him to score.
I dig it. All right, final game of the night. Since we've chatted, the Canucks loaded up that top line. We have Arizona and Vegas here. They got them all together. Pettersson, Miller, Besser. Tough to stop. Tough to stop those 3 together. Yep. I'll do the same game parlay with those guys together. I'll pick Brock Besser to score a goal and JT Miller to pick up an assist. I like the Canucks here. I mean, not breaking any news. Arizona's they've come back down to earth a little bit, but they still have gotten really good goaltending from Connor Ingram, who keeps him in a lot of hockey games. I thought he was great the other night, despite the loss to Calgary. He had the shutout against Minnesota where he turned aside 38. All 38 shots he faced. He's got a 918 save percentage. He's got 5 shutouts on the year, and he's got a 252 goals against average there. But tough for him in Vancouver. Canucks been really good on home ice. It's like a in 60 play for me or puck line play for me for the Canucks. You got Besser over there?
I'm actually switching it up. I'm going to go Pettersson, and I have a gut feeling about Kuzmenko.
Okay.
That third line has actually been playing good, and he's playing on the left side on the top power play. Most importantly, he's plus 280. Arizona, obviously, Keller, haven't not bet on him to score probably in the last 5 years. If I bet, on Arizona for someone to score. It's Keller, automatic. And then I'm going to go Kerfoot at plus 350. He's playing on the top power play and playing important minutes for him. Dude can skate, is a very good hockey player, has been underrated for a long time. More gut feel than anything, but I think Vancouver wins this.
Yeah, I think the Canucks win it too. If there's a shot prop in here, it's probably Brock Besser, 6 the other night. He's had at least 3 shots in 1, 2, 3, 4 of his last 6. It is an Arizona team that gives him up. At 5-5, he's minus 136 for 3 shots tonight. I don't mind the point is a little bit juice at minus 165, but I don't mind the assists at plus 155 because I think that line is going to rack up a goal or two. Like if it is Pettersson or maybe JT Miller that finds the back of the net, maybe Brock Besser could just be in on that. What's the price for Miller assists? It's definitely not plus money. That's minus 125. It's not too bad. JT Miller's got 40 assists in 44 games. So minus 125 for an Apple is actually probably the best play in that game for me anyways. Okay, we're going to wrap it up with some best bets and we'll get out of here. I did see the comment, Troy. I wanted to address it. It was he asked if it was possible for Adam Fantilli to win Calder if Bedard actually misses 2 months. He says he has a $250 bet to win $5K. Oh, baby. I just need to hear that there's a chance. There's definitely a chance. We'll look at some live updated odds in a second here. Oh, Bedard is minus 200. He's still minus 200. That's interesting to me. Adam Fantilli's 9-1. Luke Hughes is plus 500. Brock Faber's 7-1. Connor Zary 17-1. Marco Rossi 20-1. I could have swore Kochetkov still was eligible, but I guess not. Yeah, he definitely has a chance. I'm surprised Bedard is as big as a favorite as he is. I know he's young and he was doing really good, but man, if he misses 6 to 8 weeks of the season, I think that really does hurt his chances. Brock Faber doesn't have the points, but he logs a ton of ice time. He's probably going to be in the conversation. Luke Hughes is actually, picking up some points. And when the Devils get healthy in the second half, maybe he goes on a bit of a run. But Fantilli is not a bad little sprinkle there. I'm sure you got a better number than 9-1. There's definitely a chance for him. He's playing really good. I heard they're going to move him back over to the wing when Boone Jenner returned. I think he should stay in the middle personally, but definitely a chance there, Troy. So rooting for you to get that one. That'd be a nice little payday for you there. 5K. Pierre-Luc Dubois is such a softie. He's soft. Everyone's chirping him. The LA Kings got fleeced by the Jets. Coach Todd has been putting Pierre-Luc Dubois in the bottom 6 and benching him. Yeah. Not living up to the $8 million contract at the moment, but I'm sure in a couple of years when Deneau, he'll be a top 6 center there for them. But yeah, it's not. This is what we've seen from Pierre-Luc Dubois in every stop so far in his career: Columbus, Winnipeg, LA. Now, okay, I'll start with sides. Let you get some goal scorers, and I'll finish up with some props. I like the Bruins on home ice tonight. My favorite side of the day is the Dallas Stars on the money line. I like Dallas. I like Tampa. I like Boston. And I like the Rangers. I'm going to do a puck line there with Vancouver to beat Arizona by a couple goals in 60. I like the under 6 at BetMGM between St. Louis and Washington. I'm going to stay away from everything else, but I do have leans to Calgary. And I just don't want to bet on either of those teams. Calgary's been playing better. I would lean with them winning the game, but the Leafs, every time I pick against them or I pick them, they just freaking screw me. So I'm staying away from it. But there's some point props that I like in that game. But I'll let you take it away from his goal scorers, and I'll wrap up.
All right, we've got Kaprizov, Boldy, Kucherov, Paul, Pasta, Marchand, McKinnon, Colton, Robertson, Duchesne, Konechny, Lawton, Kyrou, Neighbors, Pacioretty, Wilson, Caulfield, Monahan, Kachuk, Batherson, Kurashev, Blackwell, Tage, Quinn, Eberle, Wenberg, McDavid, Draisaitl, Matthews, Nylander, Kadri, Sharangovich, Panarin, Zibanejad, Marcia Schultz, Dorofanov. Not sure if I'm saying that right. I think it's close. Forsberg, Sissons, Kempe, Fiala, Keller, Kerfoot, Pedersen, Kuzmenko. The 8-way maniac parlay goes as followed: Kucherov, Pasternak, Caulfield, Tage Thompson, McDavid, Matthews, Forsberg, and Kuzmenko. Forsberg is my lock to score tonight.
I really hope Kuzmenko doesn't screw that over for you. You get all 7 of those and you're late night watching and you're just rooting for Kuzmenko. I like that. There's a lot of guys on that list that I really like to score goals tonight as well. So my favorite props tonight, Charlie Coyle for a point at -125, centering that top line. The Avs have struggled to keep the puck out of their net. Also like Jonathan Drouin, believe it or not, under 1.5 shots at +110. I like Tage Thompson for over 3.5 shots. Wyatt Johnson for a point is one of my favorite plays of the night as well. +120 for a point, promoted to the top line with Hintz and Robertson. Coming off a 2-point night. He's also +240 for an assist and +370 for an anytime goal. I like Slavkovsky for a point at +100. I like Ridley Gregg for a point at +100 as well. TJ Oshie for over 2.5 shots. And I like Dylan Strome for a point. Blake Coleman for a point, as well as Igor Sharangovich for a point. Nyquist and Quentin Byfield for points, Trocheck for 3 shots, Chandler Stevenson for a point. If I would just pick 5, like my top 5 would be Charlie Coyle, Wyatt Johnson, Tage Thompson 4 shots, Slavkovsky for a point, and I would go with Chandler Stevenson for a point. Those would be the top few plays for me. For goal scorers, I'll pick 5 here for you guys. Let's go with Charlie Coyle. Why not? Charlie Coyle, Charlie Coyle, Wyatt Johnson. These guys are for points. I think that they score. So let's go Charlie Coyle, Wyatt Johnson. Let's go with TJ Oshie, a little revenge against his former squad. Let's go with Zach Hyman because he seems to score every single night. And I got a Brock Besser feeling tonight as well. When you look at this board on the way out, what do you think the highest scoring game of the night will be? Where do you think the most goals come from tonight on this slate?
That's a good question.
Montreal, Ottawa?
Yeah, I did have a gut feeling there because Montembeault's not playing and Ottawa Senators just let in a ton of goals. Yeah, why not? Montreal and Ottawa, that's the first game that I thought of. I would get kind of good goaltending everywhere else or not very good offensive play. I think Ottawa can still score whether they're good or they're not. Some of their good players have to step up. But yeah, let's go Montreal, Ottawa for the most goals tonight.
I think Toronto and Calgary like a runner up too. Like we could see some offense between those two teams as well. I think the Leafs. I'm starting to think that the Leafs will bring it, but I am a sucker for punishment. All right, we're out of here, guys. Good luck on the ice tonight. Hopefully those goal scorers hit for you guys. Shot props and stuff. Check out ftmbets.com for all the picks, projections, tools, Discord channel. You get all the bets from all the sports from everybody over at ftmbets.com using promo code FTNWins. And also, if you're looking for a DFS package, same deal. You'll get all the sports, all the picks, optimizer, and all that good stuff over at ftndaily.com. From Eric Young, Chris Meaney, we'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great weekend. Cheers.